What happens if you mix The Island of Dr. Moreau and an Eddie Romero film? You get a fucking masterpiece. That's what you get. For people who don't know, Eddie Romero is an exploitation Filipino filmmaker. He basically created genre cinema in that country, starting in 1959 with Terror is a Man and then his Blood Island trilogy. Later in the late 60s and early 70s, he got to work with American producers like the guys at AIP and Roger Corman. In fact, he directed a film for AIP called Black Mama, White Mama, starring Pam Grier, who's also in this film. He also produced a lot of Jungle Woman in Prison film with, again, Roger Corman. And that explains his connection with Pam Grier, and that's why she plays a cougar woman in this film. No, not a cougar. For that you'll have to watch Jackie Brown. I mean a literal mix between a cougar and a woman. A cougar woman.
Blood.
This was a film I was very excited to see because I've been seeing the trailers for this film forever on compilations, on the internet back when I started to get into B-movie, and I'm delighted to say that this was a pleasure to watch. Now this is a B-movie through and through, except it doesn't have the annoyances that you found in Eddie Romero's earlier work, like the shaky zoom in, zoom out camera work from the Blood Island trilogy. Like I said, is based on The Island of Dr. Moreau. Now how much is it based on? I couldn't tell you. I've never read the book or seen the movies, not even the shitty Marlon Brando one from the 90s. From what I know, it's heavily inspired. So you get this doctor that gets kidnapped by this scientific that wants to create a race of super people by mixing genes from humans and animals. And he has done some experiments and he has failed often. So this is the basic plot of the film, and then of course our hero doesn't want to get, mixed up with some animal, so he tries to escape through seducing the doctor's daughter, which by the way, she is gorgeous. This film is straight up fun. It has this playful vibe, almost like you could watch this movie with your entire family. And honestly, if you have a kid and you want them to get into B-movies, this wouldn't be a bad introduction. First of all, it's PG, so it doesn't really have the sleaze that you're used to on this channel. There's only one scene that's kind of questionable, and it's an attempted rape on our main actress by one of the animal-human mix. But this one you can, lie to your kids. You're already used to lying to your kids. You fucking lie to them every day, telling them they're great, and they'll end up doing great things when you know they're just gonna end up at a McDonald's bathroom overdosing on heroin. My only critique would be that it's kind of slow to get into. The first 30 minutes kind of get long, but the last 20 are worth the wait because that's when the animals attack. And this is what I like about these types of films, is that not only do you get a mad scientist film, kind of like a throwback to the 50s horror, but you get a modern 70s animals attack. And I would say this movie totally lives up to my hype. Now, you can get it on Blu-ray from VCI. Did they do a great job? The transfer looks good, but you can see they barely did any color correction. Color temperatures are often wrong, even from shots to shots. I assume it's because they didn't have access to the original negatives, which is often the facts with these old Filipino kind of lost films. If you're an Eddie Romero fan, like I am, this has everything for you. It kind of has that feel of his earlier works, like I said, from the late 50s, early 60s, and it also has the feel from his later work, kind of like what he did with Roger Corman and AIP. And I know what you're all asking. How is Pam Grier in this film? Well, she doesn't get naked, sadly, and she is covered and caked in makeup, which, by the way, makeup is terrible, which makes this film even more enjoyable because the makeup is so terribly done. You can clearly see it's just caked on, and they're like, yeah, you kind of look like a fucking cat now, go attack someone. But she is truly spectacular as a mute character running around trying to eat people. It just really looks like she had a good time, and this film just feels like everyone that worked on it had a great time. So that's it for me, and if you like these kind of more B-movie-esque review, please let me know, and have a wonderful day, you magnificent bastards. I love you, and I hope you love me too.